Andrew McCart, iFLTV, delighted to be joined. My first time this week, Johnny. Normally I try and get you the press conference when you've been dodging me all week, but I've finally got you after the main event. Yeah, what a show it was. Quite early as well.
It was a show, early finish on my own doorstep as well. It was pretty good with some good fights on the bill. Interesting. Argument, one cause for argument in Caroline's fight and Callum's fight, but there were some decent fights. And you know what? The fans enjoyed it. It was a sellout.
I'll be hard pushed to remember a card that had 5 first to second round knockouts. Only 2 fights went the distance in this one, and that's what we love to see. We love to see finishes.
And this was one of the shows where you looked at it, and on paper it didn't look like that was the case. On paper you thought, no way, but then when you see it, you can understand it. I think Caroline was very unfortunate for it to be called the way it was called, but Caroline did a job. She chopped her up. You know, it was like looking at a car crash, and she was punching through her opponent. I thought Callum, I feel for the referee, because the referee had to do his job, and I know people out there are going to say, Nelson, well, you're only saying that because of Carl Thompson fight, but what I'm saying is, you know, the referee had to stand there. He thought, his legs are gone, he's got to make a snap decision. It's human, it can be human error. The guy got his job done. I understand both sides of the argument, and you know what, if I was all, I'd be peed off as well, thinking, why have you stopped it? But he just looked unsteady on his feet, you know, from the first knockdown, and then so the referee had to make a call.
Obviously, going to the Caroline Dubois fight, I was watching the corner of Kamara's corner, and it didn't seem they were trying to work on anything. They were just dabbing the cut.
Of course, they wanted it stopped. They wanted it stopped because they knew it was a matter of time before she'd either get caved in or dragged out. And so they're saying, you can't see in your eye, can you? Your eyes, you know, there's blood on your eye, isn't there? You're basically saying, listen, it'll look different on the record, and listen, I'm quite sure you won't hear her saying, I want a rematch, I want to do that again. Caroline bludgeoned her.
Cam Simpson, super middleweight. I mean, domestically, he's probably cleaned up, you would say, arguably. Is there anyone else up there?
I said, you know, if I was you, I'd try and get the Lonsdale pole, so it's yours to keep. And that's what every British fighter wants to say, you know what, I'm part of British history.
What about my countrymen Sam Hickey and Scott Forrest?
Pardon?
What about my countrymen Sam Hickey and Scott Forrest?
Wow, wicked fight, wicked fight. I loved it. I thought he did a great job, spotting job.
There's a huge event happening in London, the Ring magazine. There's a lot of fights that you're looking up there, and all the stars that are out there, and Canelo's there. There's talk about the Crawford fight. Let me show you this. In fact, let me get your thoughts on this fight. Let me see if I can find it quickly, John, because I'm sure you would appreciate this. What do you think of this fight here?
You know what? That would be really
That's
good.
Anthony Joshua Bakole.
It won't happen, but it'd be really good if it did happen.
Why don't you think it will happen?
There's not enough money in it for Anthony Joshua. Risk reward doesn't work out. And Anthony Joshua at this stage of his career, if they're talking a business move, they're not going to do a Dubois rematch. Why take that one? That's a fight. Bakole is a guy. He's in the Who Needs Him club, and you know, if you're not going to take on Dubois, why would you take on Bakole? Because you know exactly what could happen and what he's capable of doing. And so you just got to do, it's a showman's. That's exactly what it is.
In Africa? You don't think it will happen in Africa? I know Joshua's talked about Africa.
I don't think he'll happen. I think you know, the business side of it, oh come on, Eddie Hearn's one of the shrewdest, smartest promoters out there. So he'll look at business. You've got Fury, you've got Bakole, you've got Dubois. So out of those three, you've got to think which one's the best business move, highest risk, highest reward. Common sense is Tyson Fury, if that can be made.
Who's the favourite? Over the last performances, Joshua and Tyson Fury, who's the favourite if that fight gets made?
You've got to say Fury. You've got to. You know, I'd be a fool to say otherwise. You've got to say, looking at the past performance, and I'm quite sure AJ would say that as well. You know, my past performance wasn't on that. Yeah, of course. You're not saying that. You're not saying anything in that sort of order.
There's 5 fights that Turki Al Sheikh has said that he wants to see in 2025. It is Joshua Fury. I'm going to try and remember them. Joshua Fury, Dubois, and Usyk. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Canelo Crawford. There's one more that I forgot, but I'll come back to you. But what do you think of those fights? And I
think they're great fights and very possible to happen. The only reason why they won't happen is because the fighters don't want them to happen. That's the only reason. The money's on the table, the excuses are out the window. So the only reason why these fights don't happen is because the fighters don't want them. So that's where the buck stops with them.
You're an ex-fighter, Johnny. Would you have said no to a fight? As an ex-fighter?
You know, when you're at a certain level, you're thinking, right, I can fight you and get there and fight you after. or shall I? Because that's why certain fighters, you know, you'll get some fighters that are unbeaten. They're unbeaten because they've hopscotched their way through to get to a top level. You know, or you've got some fights that fight everybody and anybody, but they don't get to world title level because they've boxed every single body going, and they're probably better than one that's at the top. So it's show business, and usually the business takes over the show.
Canelo's there, Crawford as well. There's been rumblings in the US about that fight might be happening this year, maybe. Again, if anyone can do it, we know it's HE, Turki Al Sheikh, he can do it. Yeah, again, you're talking about risk and reward, and Canelo said, why would I fight a smaller man and all this sort of stuff. But again, as a boxing man, stranger things have happened in the boxing world.
You know what, if I'm honest with you, I don't think of them. I think Canelo has stuck his heels in regards to Turkey and said, I ain't playing your game, I don't need to play your game. And so you can throw it out, make it as loud as possible. I don't need to play that game, and in reality, why would he? And if, why would he? You know, he can dance to his own tune and get paid what he wants. Why would he?
There's money.
He's got mad money.
That's what I'm saying.
He's got mad money.
Yeah, but has everyone got a price though?
You don't know. You can't talk for. I can't talk for Canelo, but he's got mad money. So, and that's what it is. Clearly not, because if he did have a price, he'd have already boxed on one of Turkey's shows.
I mean, one final one for me then, Johnny. We've had a great card here in Sheffield, and we're going to get an absolute great 2025 with the card that we've got lined up, and no bigger than February 22nd. Now, you've been in boxing for how long, Johnny? I don't want to put you out your age.
Forever and a day.
Forever and a day. Have you ever seen a card as big and as exciting as February 22nd?
I think it's a brilliant card, and that's why you've got a props Riyadh season for making these things happen. No matter what complaints you've got, no matter what complaint about the location, what the money these guys are getting paid. If you're a boxing fan, you're getting exactly what you want. And that's what should have been happening yesteryear. Should have been happening a long time ago. And now this guy's got everyone in the room, crack their heads together and say, let's get this done.
And that's what we love about boxing. Johnny, it's only 10:30 at night and we are wrapped up. How good is this? How good is an early finish?
That's how we do it.
That's how we do it,
That's
Johnny.
Yorkshire.
Listen, that's how we do it in Yorkshire. But listen, I'm coming back to Yorkshire then. Johnny, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one, man. Thank you very much. Thank you.